Family, please accept my obeisances. Let's start with a prayer. Yachakshureshya savitas sakalagrahanam Raja samastasuramutirashesha teja Yasya gyaya brahmati samvritakala chakro Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much for joining today. So I'm going to give you a little introduction about today's presentation. Basically, there are two eclipses coming up, 2025's first eclipses, and there's a lunar eclipse happening on the 14th, and there's a solar eclipse, which is happening on the 29th of March. So both are very important on the cosmic level, especially the solar eclipse is going to be a huge karmic shift. And so for those of you who would like a little breakdown in terms of what is eclipse influence, very short, just so that you can understand how to harness that power, what is happening on the cosmic level. And I'll also share, some of you have given me your data 1 hour before the call so that I had time to calculate some of your charts to just give a glimpse of relevance. I really wanted to help like a specific group of individuals in this talk today. So it's more practical because you'll find a lot of videos on the very broad explanation of this eclipse. So basically, a solar eclipse occurs when moon, okay, I have to actually show you the picture. Let me just go. Okay, so basically, when moon aligns between sun and earth, okay, that's, sun is, we started our presentation with invocation of sun god. He's the Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Teja. So he's the world eyes of the world. And he is the king of all the planets. So very important. He's also known as Atmakaraka in everybody's chart. So basically, when moon comes in between, when moon aligns between sun and earth, then it blocks completely, sun's light is blocked. So this cosmic event, astronomically speaking, which you can actually see with a telescope, I don't recommend it, that is a cosmic event. And then what actually happens on the astrological level is that it's a great time for endings and new beginnings. So if you are experiencing some eclipse in your major houses like ascendant or some major angular houses and the nakshatra of the eclipse, you will be going through this weeks before that. You'll be feeling upside down. There's some lot of shifts going to be happening in that specific house. Now, the role in terms of, going a little back into the history, the turning of the ocean, the Samudra Mathan, that's when Rahu and Ketu, especially the Rahu is one, and then he tried to steal nectar, and he got disguised as a demigod, and then he took some nectar, and that's when Swabhanu was his original name, and Vishnu cut off his head, and then he became Rahu and Ketu. So this solar eclipse, it happens when new moon, which is Amavasya. Amavasya is what we call it in Sanskrit. So Amavasya, when during the new moon, when the moon is crossing the ecliptic is the path with which the sun travels, then it blocks the sunlight, right? So on the historical or the, because everything is person. In Krishna consciousness, we know Bhagavatam, we study, all these planets are not just some objects or machines, they are individuals. So what is happening at this particular time is there's a huge shift even amongst them, even in that relationship, because Rahu and Ketu, as you can see in the up in the top and the bottom, and so during when they are the nodes of moon, so the Rahu and Ketu are basically not, they don't have like space like other grahas. They are the cause of that shift and the transformation. And then a lunar eclipse, I have to show you the other image here. I have the other image. So this is again another clear image of, you see Earth and Moon. You can see a sun on the other side. So that's the solar eclipse happening when sun is covered, and lunar eclipse. So I want to say about lunar eclipse. Let me go to the image. Here, the second one here. Okay, the lunar eclipse happens only on the Purnima day, whereas the solar eclipse happens only on the new moon day, only on Amavasya. That is possible. So basically, 15 days, there's a gap between solar and lunar eclipse. They always come together. So lunar eclipse occurs when the full moon is on the ecliptic, in that path of the sun, and then it passes through the Earth's shadow. So what is happening right now cosmically, the macrocosm, all these planets, all their relational dramas, right? Rahu is going to try to go and eat the moon, and Ketu is going to try to go and eat the sun because they are revengeful. Why? Because they gave in. They told Vishnu that this demon took the nectar, is coming in the disguise of a demigod. So it's like an eternal tele-serial opera about the enmity between sun, moon, and Rahu and Ketu. And even in our astrological charts, that microcosm in our own life, we experience the pull of Rahu. Rahu is all about those obsessions and all those karmic baggage that we're carrying lifetime after lifetime. And Ketu is all those aspirations we have to go towards liberation. So right now, this eclipse is happening according to tropical calculation system. It's happening in Aries, 8 degrees, 8:59 degrees, and it's happening according to sidereal calculation. Sidereal is what most popular astrologers, Vedic astrologers use, and it's happening in Pisces. So Pisces is sidereal eclipse is happening there, and tropical is happening in Aries. So for those of you, depending on which system you use, you can see. So if you have any important planets there, any personal planets like Sun, Moon, Mars, very, very important. What's going to be happening there, huge shifts in your life. It's good to know it. And or even angles, some strong angles opposite each other, you'll feel this eclipse more intensely, besides the cosmic shift that is the world is going to experience. So what is happening is the sun and moon are joining forces in these houses, like in Aries. And then it means Aries is all about high energy, action-oriented eclipse. So there's a lot of, we need courage to pass this test. So it's a big cosmic test. And there is also Mercury involved in this eclipse. So when I'll show your charts, I'm also going to say, where is your Mercury? Because Mercury is involved in this eclipse. It will become, basically, it means your thinking, your communication, your learning, all these will emerge in a specific way. So it will you will be shifting your mental patterns depending on where your Mercury is, and you will be forced to embrace fresh perspectives if you resist. But if you don't resist, then it will happen in a smoother way. I remember Purandara Dasa, he says that Sakalagraha balanine sarasi jaksha, Ravichandra Buddha nine, Rahu Ketuvu nine, Pakshamasavu nine, Parvakalavu nine. So it is said that Prahlad Maharaj also says that in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that yes, there is Sun, Moon, Rahu, Ketu, but there is Krishna Graha. That Krishna Graha is, when chanting of the holy names, is giving that effect of the Parvakala. I was talking with my astrology guru to understand deeper, what is this Parvakala? What actually happens on the cosmic level that this eclipse is so powerful? Why? I was asking him. So he gave me some insights about this Parvakala, how the planetary transitions. Let me just look at my notes of what he just told me. Okay, here it is. So all the Brahmanas, the Parvakala is referred to as like they will not waste a single minute. They won't eat all day and they wait for that Parvakala of the eclipse. They will sit down and chant, and everything done in that time has super potency, especially spiritual activities, because that's the time, even in the, when you actually look at the, eclipse, when it's actually happening, the whole, the Sarpa dosha you may have heard in astrology, depending on where your Rahu and Ketu are situated. If all planets are within Rahu and Ketu, it's called Sarpa dosha. So that's very much linked. The energy of Parvakala is like the opposite of the Sarpa. So this time is so sacred that the Pitruloka, the forefathers world, basically any of our ancestors, somebody very dear to us who are not there in this world anymore, all these personalities become easily accessible to us. So usually even people like, who do dark energy work, they connect with entities during that time. It's very open. It's like such a open period. It's almost like Black Friday cosmically, where you can just go and grab stuff for very cheap price. So you really can connect with beings on a higher realm. And so what to speak of chanting. So I recommend, if you are in a place where eclipse is visible, chant at that time. Chant Gayatri, chant your mantras. Don't sit on the floor, sit on something like a wood or cloth or wool or something, that you get all that energy. So Ayush Karma. So even people who do all this ceremonies, spiritual ceremonies, this time is very favorable for maximum spiritual benefits. And then also people who do, like, usually in India, if eclipse is visible, then they close the temples because it gets contaminated, etc. Because again, the channel, no, it's like very, all the waves that you can calculate of the cosmos is super open, high vibrational cosmic energy. So to achieve spiritual goals, you may feel overwhelmed, but it's very good to do spiritual activities, and not recommended to open a business or do some activities which are mundane. It could have, like, for example, pregnant women should not see the eclipse. I have one of my relative in our family. She was a scientist, and she's like, I don't believe that. So she was pregnant and she saw the eclipse, solar eclipse, and the child was born completely mentally retarded. So she studied a lot about eclipse, and I have so much faith when people, a lot of people go, they wear glasses and see it on a spiritual level. It's like an insult happening to sun god. So we don't celebrate that. We don't go and watch it. Remember Manjari Mataji? There was this whole thing about people traveling to Texas to see the eclipse. And I was like blinding myself completely, in the dark room in Dallas Temple when the eclipse was happening. And I was like, no, I don't want to watch it. You shouldn't. And in fact, when the eclipse leaves, you're supposed to view sun god and take a bath. So there is like a whole relational, spiritual, devotional aspects, and very merciful moments there. So we don't like celebrate the eclipse when the moon and sun get caught by Rahu and Ketu, okay? So this, like I said, if you have ancestors, you've had good ancestors, you have any ancestors, it's time to offer them prayers if they need liberation, or if you, or you offer prayers to them, or offer prayers on behalf of them. You get a lot of blessings in that time. Okay, what else? What else about the Parvakala I wanted to share? Do not. Okay, it also, if you're born during nighttime or daytime, that also is another effect. So if you're born during nighttime, I recommend highly you do a lot of journaling, a lot of this healing, releasing of karmic energies type of work. It'll be super effective. If you're born at morning time, when the sun is up, all this kind of external activities start from now for several weeks before reading Brahma Samhita, Vishnu Sahasranam. All the prayer related things will help you immensely. I mean, mantras help both day and night time, but the effects are very much individual. Okay, next, what I wanted to share are, let's get into the persons I have here. I may not have all of you because some of you did not share the timing with me, so it was difficult, but for some of you, I put a neutral time. So I'll start with KP. So here what we can see is you need to look at, this is a chart examples. So for this person in the fifth house is where the eclipse is happening. So the energy of fifth house is all about creativity. I mean, I'll tell about what the houses are. So I'm just going to say fifth house here. And not only fifth house, six, seven, eight. Eighth house where their Mercury is situated. Mercury is situated in Gemini. So that house will also be affected a lot, like very deeply in this person's case. So there'll be a huge shift in this aspects of life. What aspects? I'm going to give you, you take down notes as I'm showing your charts, and at the end I will discuss what each house will mean, but just to quickly touch upon as an example here. So fifth, all aspects of your fifth house is going to be shifted, and then also the eighth house. And then we have Kriti here in her chart. Also, we can see it's the same ascendant. So fifth house is affected, but it's double effect. Why? Because in her fifth house, moon is there. So there's some psychological, emotional ups and downs, a lot of intensity like that. And then their Mercury is situated in 10th house. So career, there's going to be a shift, relocation, moving, if you're waiting for that application or a new job opportunity, that's like, so that's an example. Now let's go quickly to tell you where your houses are, and then we'll study when we get to the chart. Now, so this is Gopali's chart and third house. The eclipse is happening where Ketu is sitting. Third house is the house of ambition, etc. Shortly, we'll get to more details. And third and fifth. Please take note of that. Third and fifth will be very important for you because fifth Mercury is situated. And then Rukmini Priya, we have hers is happening in the 12th house. The eclipse, so 12th will be very important, right? Take note of that, and we'll talk about it in the rest of the video. And then also the 10th house, 10th and 12th, both of these houses will be affected. And the Lakshmita would be 9, I think. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 9 and 10 houses, so make note of that. And Veena is going to be in the second house. Second house is all about money, wealth, self-worth, and also in the fifth house. Fifth house is communication, creativity. So second and fifth, make note of it. And Haladini would be in seventh house and 10th house. So marriage and career. And then Kritika, we have also seventh house and also very prominent. You see, moon is in your seventh house, so double, like market double. It's like double relevant in your case. Also, Hladini, you have Mars and Rahu there, so also double relevant. Mars is a personal planet. Then we have Anushri. Anushri is also is happening in the seventh house, and Mercury is in the first house. So first house and seventh house, super shifts going to be. And I would say, yeah, double it, like you have double planets. And then Kundalata we have, and then Mercury is in the first house. So very important. First house is happening, both solar eclipse and lunar eclipses. Huge shifts here. And also sixth house and also seventh house is affected here. So you took notes of it, right? So now I'll get into how it works. And before that, I want to actually show you on the cosmic level how the planets are moving and why they are so relevant. Let's get a quick glance here. So if you actually watch this, see, planets keep moving. Okay, let me go backward because then you can actually see the eclipse time. So the April and every day, this is a day-to-day chart. So this is the person's chart inside, and this is the outer planets, the planets which are moving in the cosmic cosmos right now. So as the planets are moving, you will see which house it is affected in their chart. So where the eclipse is happening. So depending on where the eclipse is happening and that particular house we see. So it's so artistic and magical to actually view this. When you go, you see it moves, and then the planet comes, and the sun is there, and then Venus comes, and then Rahu comes in their house, and you can actually see it's really powerful to meditate on how the planets are also growing, evolving, and how that impacts us. Okay, so let's get into the heart of this presentation. I was so impressed. You were all on time. I initially thought I'll get your data when you come online. I said, no, I should get it before so I can give more. So this slide here is for your lunar eclipse, okay? Wherever your moon is, from that, you have to see like the eclipse is happening in Virgo. So then you see which house is your impact on. Sure. We have a student in the room, so okay. For example, if your Aries ascendant, if your birth ascendant is Aries, then your house that will be affected will be your sixth house, which will be health, service, daily routines. So this is like the lunar eclipse is not as major as the solar eclipse, but depending on your chart, if you have an ascendant very strong, or you have your first house or the fourth house or the seventh house or 10th house, then it can be major for you in your life currently. So I have these how do you call them, tables. I can send it to our group so you can have access to them. I also have a short booklet that I made from the research that I did for this presentation, so I can send that also. So for somebody who is say Scorpio ascendant, 11th house, so the 11th house will be gains, social circles, aspirations. So for you, this lunar eclipse is an opportunity to shift your vision about it, close something that's not been working so far. And also like, what was the other one I was looking at? Social circles. So expanding social circles and giving up social circles that are not so useful. Okay, that's this. You can take a screenshot of this. You can look at your own charts and figure out where your planets are. So let's get to the solar eclipse thing. This is eclipse effects by house. Now, for those of you I gave numbers, right? Some of you I said third house, watch out for fifth house. So let's start with the fifth house. Fifth house is creativity, education, also romance, children. Children can mean disciples, can mean your fans and followers on social media as well. So key theme for this eclipse will be new creative projects, changes also in romantic life, in how you're dealing with your creativity. Also joy, focusing on personal joy. Maybe you have neglected that, and it could mean that maybe you're addicted to social media scrolling, because fifth house also involves some energy of somewhere where you find entertainment. So maybe there's time to shift it. Maybe instead of watching movies or some karmi stuff, maybe you could switch to Mahabharata or Chaitanya Charitamrita, or listening to music. So there's like a shift in that. And then eighth house is like a big house. It's called the Dusthana, also is a house of negativity, but any planet there, especially negative planets, do well there. Why? Because it causes transformation. It makes us get out of the rut. It makes us release karmic baggage. So transformation, shared resources. Also, you can see the impact here is facing deep changes. It could be external, especially external in this case, but if you've done self-work prior to this, you'll find more benefit. And then healing emotional wounds. Like I said, if you've been working on like I said, if you have Mercury, or the Lord of your Mercury is in the 8th house, these themes will come up. Emotional healing, and also financial transactions, especially related to inheritance. Maybe 8th house could involve some inheritance money, reinvesting the inheritance money, selling of buying of land, making decisions in the regards to inheritance. All those stuff will also be like, basically, karmically, you won't be affected. So this is the time to make a shift. But if you've not been a good person, then it may come in a negative way, like losing of property if the planet is negatively affected. But still, you can release it willingly and say, Hare Krishna, let the karma be removed. Okay, then let's go to first house. I'll go now in order. And oh, I have Darius chart. Did I miss any charts? Maybe I missed a slide or something. Let me just see. I have it here. So, Alaria, I'm just telling you. So, Pisces is your ascendant. That basically means the eclipse is happening in your first house. So that is super relevant, and double there because also you have Saturn there sitting there, so that's also very impactful. And then there is, so write down like Saturn, write down Pisces, and then also write down house number 1, and also write down house number 4 for emotions and household and all that areas. Fourth house is where your Mercury is. Say okay, so because I skipped that slide. Okay, going back to the presentation. Okay. Did you hear it? Adarya, did you make a... Okay, yeah, we took notes. Good, good. Yeah, because now we are going to get into the... In fact, see, this first house is your... We are talking about the first house now. So first house, Lagna. So Adarya is an example for that as well. So it's happening in your first house and ascendant house. So everything to do with your body, you'll be making plans for taking care of the health, taking care of your image, taking care of your self, who you are, not just on a bodily appearance, but overall the self itself. It's interesting. You can also do the whole parts work. That'll be very effective this time. It'll give like a lot of breakthroughs. And also there is identity, vitality, and self-expression. Like I said, it's not just body, but it's the identity and self-expression as well. And next is, okay, if you have more planets, like if you have other planets in that house, those planets can be supportive to that transformation. For example, you have Saturn in the first, which basically means discipline, austerity, surrender, humility. All these qualities that you have can be used to push this transformation. And also, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Parvakala, if you chant, of course, you're in India, so you don't, it's not a visible thing. But if you are in a place where eclipse is visible, oh, chant at that time, connect with ancestors, that's like really super powerful. Okay, second house. Second house is connected. Let me just see if I missed something here. Sun, moon, ascendant. So if you have sun, moon, or ascendant in this house where the eclipse is happening, then the impact will be super visible. Second house, I think this is Veena Mataji has in second house, wealth, speech, family, food habits. I mean, these are just examples, okay? Values, stored assets. For me personally, second house is a lot about self-worth. Working around your self-worth will come up for you. Taking a stand for yourself, valuing yourself. And then key themes on external level will be finances, possessions, lineage, communication because not just like, oh, communication in terms of social media communication, more communication, communicating your needs, that level of communication. Third house, I think several of you had that also. Third house, when it's impacting siblings, courage, communication, short travels, creativity. So the key themes will be you'll have to work towards your goals, set goals. Even if you fail in those goals, Ask Krishna, pray, Krishna, may I align with your plans. If you don't have any plans, that's okay also. You can ask Krishna, please show me what it is that your plans are for me so I can align to them. Every morning you can actually wake up and pray. It's not only for third house, this is for everybody. Morning we wake up and say, Krishna, my plan today is to align to your plan. Please reveal to me what it is that you would like me to work on. How would you like me to do it? It's always a safe space there. Effort, initiative, skills, media, also curiosity. So I think Gopali had this one as well. And so third house is also the siblings house. It's also the ambition. For me is like about that house of ambition. You don't know what to do. This is the time to like allow Krishna, give him let him be your manager, project manager, give it to him. And so these prayers are powerful, and especially this eclipse time, 3 weeks before, 3 weeks after, energy is very different. The cosmic energy is very different. So fourth house. Fourth house is all about home, mother, emotions, property, fixed properties, inner peace, vehicles. All these things are related to fourth house. For now, you can skip this natural sign. This is not important for you to know if it's too complicated. So just keep to the key themes will be comfort, happiness, domestic life, roots. Also, I would say just your home can mean also internal, not just externally, table, chair. Home is when you feel comfortable and when you feel safe and secure. Your security, your sense of emotional stability is also fourth house. So if anything is happening there, your sun, moon, or ascendant, or any other thing is happening in that house, or even aspects. I mean, if you want to know detail your chart, I can talk to you later and you can book an appointment. But these are just, there are many levels to see the impact of the eclipse, but I'm talking about like a super top layer of it. So domestic life roots. A fourth house can also mean how your home environment is, how you're dealing with your family. Just family can be also another aspect. Fifth house, also some of you had this one, intelligent, or we already touched upon fifth house. Sixth house is stability, security. So anything is happening there, whether eclipse is happening or you have any personal planets there, then you may let go of certain enemies, or you may identify certain enemies, maybe you'll finish paying debts. If you can do it, if you have some debts and you want to pay back, do it. Or something to do with mortgage may come up for you, some health related, not necessarily bad, but you may get into more regimented routines, very good time. Also, because Venus is not involved in the eclipse, my teacher was saying that this eclipse happened in 2007, a similar energy eclipse. And that time also we had a huge shift. So all of you, whoever has any planets in any of the houses, whenever for about the eclipse, look at your 2007. What were you involved in? What projects? What kind of lessons you were learning? Look back at your journals, maybe look at your emails, go and see who you were in touch with. What was your mood? Like for me, astrologically, the system that I was using, I changed it and my life shifted at that time. And I got involved in a particular astrological system. So there was a lot of shift for me. And now it's again happening for me also in my career and creativity and everything. So I can see the connection. So you will also find something from 2007 around, it could be end of 2006 as well. So check that 2007 energy, what was happening for you. That'll be like, it'll connect dots for you. Like for me, it's happening like I didn't care about making astrology videos or this and that, but it's very clearly happening that I'm supposed to do it. So these will be I'll come next about how to use it, but this is very important what I'm saying now. The houses, this gives the foundation to understand. Then we have seventh house. Ooh, that's a big one because it's not so much in your control also. Things will be happening. Maybe in terms of subtly learning lessons about seventh house, meaning others. It's not only marriage here. It does say marriage, partnerships, business, legal contracts. The key themes are relationships, commitments, alliances. It's basically about anybody other than you. That's the seventh house. So others. So there will be some shift happening in that area. Time to let go, time to like redefine relationships, time to redefine your how you prioritize relationships. Many of you have that. As I remember, Amrita Sundari has that. Who was that? So I remember two, three of you who had that. Three of you at least. Also Kundalata has that happening in seventh, and somebody else, Kruti, another Kruti also. So all of you have this seventh house energy, which basically is like time to new way of seeing what's the purpose of relationships and what you want to, what you're looking for in your marriage, what you're looking for with your neighbors, friends, anybody around you. One thing, if seventh house is being affected, is to minimize interactions, communication, like to keep it more purposeful. That's another seventh house cleansing eclipse energy. Eighth house is, I already covered that. Ninth house, higher learning. We had a special guest here for fifth and the eighth. So I covered it in the beginning. So they already left. Okay, so ninth house is higher learning. That's my favorite house. That's the house of support system that we can create our mentors and people that can really uplift us and put us on the right track. So higher learning, dharma, fortune, spiritual growth. So basically, if your ninth house is being affected, Sun, Moon, Mars, any of the major planets there, or aspects, or Mercury is there, then find people that can support you. Find a support system, for community where you can lean back on, have that. And also, ninth house helps you with the philosophy of life. What's your path? Where are you going towards, like that? Long travels, also travels are related to ninth house. And gurus, teachers, destiny, all that. Ninth house is a very important house for spiritual advancement. Oh, sorry. Oops, jumped. 10th house, career, public image. That is that's what is affecting for me. So there is shift there. Don't worry too much about how I look, or just think about what message I want to give, and be public, go public, be out there. Professional reinvention, new career paths. Oh, that's actually, this is a previous one, no? I went ahead. Oh, here. Career, status, public image, father, authority, profession, karma, ambition, social standing. I didn't see many of you having that so much, but 11th house, gains, networking, aspirations. See, these are all the upper houses and the lower houses. The upper houses are what's seen above the sun. All this 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, they are all 11th, they're all up above the surface of Earth. So they are all public. Whereas 1, 2, all these are internal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12. These are internal houses. So the shift is more internal. It's more about you. Whereas when it's about 7th, 8th, 9th house, it's also external. It's also habits. It's also schedules, routines, connections, all that. And then 11th is, I told you, gains. Network is like profit. Suddenly you may get some inheritance. You may win a lottery, so to speak. So incomes, goals, or you may have worked hard on some project and things happen. You may have applied for a relocation and you may get it. And social circles also, people will respect you more, or some shift will happen, or the opposite can also happen. People may reject you and you may feel socially unaccepted. Actually, it's a good thing. It basically means it's not serving your purpose. So because you had some other wish that you wanted and you are not getting it, so something will be removed in that aspect as well. So that every house has a sacrifice. Nothing is going to come without that. And if we hold on to not sacrifice, then it'll hit us like a bad way, in a punishment way. But if we take it up as an austerity, it will be easy. And 12th house, I think Amrita Sundari, I don't know, somebody had the 12th house. And losses, moksha, losses doesn't mean something like charity is also considered loss. Spending time on certain activities that you may feel like, oh, I could have been doing so many other things, like chanting. When the mind is like a puppy, it runs away and it goes here, goes there. So sitting and chanting is also 12th house. Moksha, foreign lands also travels. And foreign lands can mean, 12th house, what it can mean. It can mean that your relatives may be in India and you may be bothered by them. That is also 12th house because it's internal, it's hidden. They are hidden problems, hidden, isolated problems. Expenses also. So here it says key themes: spirituality, liberation, retreat, solitude. I made this list really quickly, but again, it's not like a deep astrological thing. I want to show you the other. Oh, I also have Parijata's chart and somebody else, but you can contact me later if we can talk. You can book a session or something. Because I got some of you requested for a session to understand deeply, then we can go, deeper layers. Otherwise, everybody else can get bored if we get into only into one chart. But let me show you this one. Yeah, this is actually my favorite slide. This really helped me because so many of my friends were calling me, different people asking, and I used this. I made this chart to tell them where they need to focus on. So first house, okay? Identity, self-expression, we touched that, but what will be your theme on a few weeks before your eclipse and after? Reinventing your personal identity. Maybe it's changing your profession. It's also changing how you identify yourself as, embracing new perspectives about yourself. Second house is, like I said, self-worth, finances, a shift in money habits or re-evaluating what you truly value. Like for second house, I would also say where you're investing your time. What are you doing during the day? That shift could be very precious. Third house, communication, learning, again, ambition as well. A new way of thinking, writing, speaking. So if you're stuck in a course or you're doing something, you can always create something on the side, something for long term. So don't fear. This eclipse is all about bringing the courage to shift. Fourth house is home, family, foundations. So it may have, like, you may have relocations, you may have some shift in your family dynamics, also internal dynamics. Fourth house is under, so it's nobody, public is not seeing it. So it's about your emotional security, it's about your stability. If you have something going on, fourth house, eighth house, first house, 10th house, it's good to get like astro locational map to understand. Maybe even going 70 miles this side, that side could shift the energies for you, and it'll be easy to find that emotional stability and security, or work with people who are in those lines as well. You don't have to move physically. You can actually, like, I work with people where I have good planetary energy, and you get the energy of the place as well. Fifth house, creativity, education, romance if you are looking for it, but in general is like what you develop, what you create, what comes from you, say children comes from you. So like things like new creative projects, changes in romantic life, don't be afraid. Like I told one person, they have the fifth house happening in eclipse in Mercury, so they are in publishing, and I told them you have to move to like podcasts and go away from writing and go more into speaking. So that's like a game changer for them. They already are setting it up and they are very wealthy, so one shift is going to make them super popular and their service is going to expand. So like that. Sixth house, health, work, daily routines, a shift in your health routines, job responsibilities, also time and energy management. How you do that will determine the next 18 years cycle. What you do in these areas, depending on where your planets are, you get that. Then seventh house, relationships. We're trying new relationship dynamics. So it's not like you to change relationships. Don't go out and say, I should rather go on the set, my seventh house is affected, I have to go into a new relationship. No, it's about new relationship dynamics, shifting your perspective. Because seventh house, people think it's about others, but it's actually also about your behavior in relationships. I actually want to see if Parijata, is she still there? Just wanted to Something about her chart was also 7th house. Because some of you didn't, you just said you're coming to the thing, but you didn't give me your data, so I didn't do your charts. So 8th house, transformation. I think we touched this one in earlier also. Shared resources, facing deep changes, healing emotional wounds and transitions. 9th will be a shift in beliefs, new academic or spiritual journeys. 10th house, professional reinvention. I think I covered that earlier. 11th will be reevaluating friendships, networking, or setting new long-term goals. So depending on the system, no, if you're doing tropical or sidereal, both houses can bring some relevance. But if you take a closer look, like for me, I believe more in the tropical zodiac system because that's what Bhagavatam says, and that's a shift in the system. But you can see some, you feel that the energy is moving already. Things are changing in that direction for you. You feel a push. So the idea is do not resist. So I'm going to pause here and take some questions. Then we can go over some table or anything again. Anyone has any questions that may relate to how you can apply this, how you can practically make some shifts, how to let go? Because for those of you in some houses, 7th house, etc., there may be some letting go. There may be some letting go either of your expectations or sometimes even letting go of certain relationships. Yeah, so Veena Mataji is asking, will these shifts happen automatically or we have to make the shift? To a certain degree, it will happen automatically. And if you, like I said, if you're aware and you know what is happening in your life, you will be able to take advantage of it. Is it happening in Texas? Can you actually see the eclipse? I think so. So yeah, if it's happening in your place, it's really, you have much more control in making it happen. See, astrology is a mirror to your subconscious mind. So I don't believe so much that you have to run to astrologer for everything. But if there are some major shifts happening in your life, you'll already know, like job, relationships, career. You will know that, oh, there's a shift already coming in my way. And you have been waiting since, like me, I've been waiting since 2007 to try something. And I don't have to commit to this because Venus is not involved in the eclipse. Mercury is involved. So Mercury is more a planet of try it out, explore. He's not a planet of commitment. You have to get married or something. That is not the energy here. Venus is more like commitment. You have to stick to this path. So do something that you are afraid to do, something you've been holding back, something you're thinking, I can't live without this, or I can't do this change, I can't do this shift. Like for me, it's like I don't want to, I don't like social media, I don't like to make videos, I don't like to go public. So it's something like I've been holding on to, but I can feel from different directions the energy shifting and saying, no, no, this is a time to do it. This is a time to serve in that way. So to, like, if you ask me, is it happening? Not naturally. I'm not feeling that, oh, I'll do it. I have to push myself. I know that this is, the energy is coming, and knowing astrology as an astrologer, it helps me, but you don't even need astrology. You'll see, if you look at your life, you'll see chaos will be in that specific area where the eclipse is happening and you feel it. Oh, what do I do? So I would say it's 50-50. And the third point I want to say is in some houses, like I said, Sun, Moon, Mars, if you're having ascendant in those houses, the change is inevitable because Mercury is also a kicking planet. He kicks, means you will experience the change. But the if you're ready, if you willingly do it, like me, if I do it willingly and I say, oh, let me do this session on eclipse, there is more benefit. I get more credits. Okay, any other questions? I see more. What's the difference between the eclipse being visible or not visible where you are? Okay, very good question. So eclipse being visible is where the Parvakala, the energy, it's like directly, it's falling in that place where the eclipse is happening. So it means that all this chanting and all the spiritual activities you do during the eclipse time is multiplied and you get amazing spiritual benefit. But in terms of the cosmic shift that's happening, there's no difference. Meaning, if it's happening in certain charts, and whether you're in Cambodia or you're in Nigeria, and if you don't have the eclipse, your chart's influence of the cosmic event is still the same impact. But activities done are much more powerful and significant in the place where the eclipse is happening. So take advantage. Even if it's midnight, lunar eclipse happens usually night. If it's happening where I am, if it's visible, we call it gochara. If it's gochara means visible, we wake up midnight and we sit and chant in that time, because that's very special time. You can't buy it. India, it's not visible. India is not visible. Then some of you are sending private, you can send public message so everybody knows what's the question. And then I have another question here. Gopali, I have a focus on third and fifth house, and I recently started offering private coaching and yoga sessions. So yeah, that's perfect. Using your creativity to do something to match your higher goals and the direction. Third and fifth. Yeah. Ambition and creativity. That's also like nice, right? Three, when you look at your houses and you can connect their energies and the meanings, it's magic. Okay. Does partial versus total visibility also make a difference? Yes. The impact of total visibility or total lunar eclipse, like solar eclipse is, sorry, what I was saying? Total, what's the question? Does partial versus total visibility also make a difference? Yes, I think I have one of the slides. Let me start. Where's the slides? Yeah, I found that image. So when it's half, like half eclipse, partial eclipse, then the orbit where the moon is, the ecliptic is slightly in a different position, so there's some visibility. Otherwise, it's not. But on the astrological level, it all depends on, for example, let's say Audarya has it happening in her ascendant house. So if it's happening in her ascendant house and it's a partial solar eclipse, it is still very potent for her. And somebody else, it's much less. And for somebody else, it's a full solar eclipse happening. And it's happening in their, I don't know, like some house, like not so prominent in their chart. There's not any sun, moon, Mars or anything, but yeah, something in their sixth house it's happening. And some they need to be a little more disciplined and it's good for them, but it's not like a major, even though it's a total solar eclipse, there won't be any major shifts in their life. They won't get a job or change a job or change the place or anything like that. So it depends very much on their individual chart where the planets are placed to see if the partial lunar eclipse or full lunar eclipse or solar eclipse, what is the impact. So some solar eclipse is very evident on your external life, whereas lunar eclipse is more on the emotional, on your internal, on your relations, all those subtle aspects of your life, which is not so public. So solar is more about your confidence, your leadership, your jobs, your money, finance, all those things are more impacted. And like I said, after 2007, this eclipse is happening now. So it's a huge, major cosmic and worldly shift. And there is a lot of crazy things also, like Mercury is going to go retrograde, Venus is also retrograde. So people will do crazy things in the world after this eclipse. Crazy crimes, crazy things. People just go mad. Why? Because they're not in alignment to what they're supposed to be doing. So it can impact them negatively also. Okay, any other questions? Let me see. Yeah, okay. I mean, it again depends, Veena Mataji, if which house was impacting you and what was your mood. And generally, it's not, it's not really healthy to watch it, but it depends on your mood. Like I said, if you were laughing at it or like, insulting sun god or something, yeah, then there could be some ill effects. But if you did it in a mood of innocence, etc., sun god understands it. But there may be some obstacles in terms of mind and controlling mind, finding peace. All those things can be impacted. Like I said, my one of the aunts who saw it during her pregnancy, that really is much worse than just normal people seeing it. So it depends on who you are, what kind of mood, etc. So I see another comment here, Adaria. My shift is already happening in the direction the eclipse indicates for me. The question is, having the eclipse in the same house as the ascendant, what does that do? So earlier somebody asked the question, right? Oh, yeah. Somebody asked the other question also about what was that question? Oh, yeah, Veena was asking about the shifts. Do they happen automatically or we have to make the shift? So in your case, it's happening automatically, but you can leverage it. You can take advantage of it. Okay. You kind of anything else? You have any other follow-up question for that? Um, which is your ascendant house? You have to ask an astrologer or some reliable astrological website, or if you put your data, then it will tell you what's your ascendant. That's ascendant is basically your first house. Oh, that's a good question. Amrita Sundari is asking a very relevant question. I was hoping somebody will ask. So these are like basic do's and don'ts, okay? Number one, how to take advantage of this eclipse. This is for everyone. Number one, embrace change. This eclipse is asking you to be open to new ways of doing, new ways of thinking, new ways of relating, new ways of investing, new ways of writing, new ways of expressing whatever your house is. Experiment, don't commit. Experiment, do not commit. So don't make some big deals thinking, yeah, now is the time for change. I'm going to sign up for this project or I'm going to relocate. No, because Mercury is dominant. This is the period to explore before you commit. Okay, don't commit. Third, face your fears. We have to make like an acronym or something. First is embrace change, another is experiment, don't commit. The third is face your fears. So why facing the fears? Because this particular influence is suggesting that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and you will get amazing positive results if you get out of your comfort zone, if you face your fears. But you need some discrimination, no? Like again, I said, face your fears, but without some big commitment that will make you stuck or something. Fourth, watch for signs. It means the synchronicities, being intuitive. Suddenly you'll find some realization. Suddenly you'll have dreams. You'll have something that tells you this is your path. This pay attention to intuitive insights. And eclipse time is very, very sensitive time. Then fifth, my favorite one, that we should do it together as a team, as a group. Declutter, declutter, make space, time to let go, of things that don't serve you any longer. Clean up your table, give away. Mercury retrograde is also coming, so that's a great time. Give away things that you're not using, old clothes, bed sheets, whatever things that you're not using. Give, let go. Also, let go of old beliefs. Oh, they think about me this way. Let go, declutter, make space for fresh things, or even some relationships, or some, like I said, one of the things that I need to do for me is also minimizing the screen time, minimizing frequency, how do you call it? the EMF, because it eclipse time, any contact, too much contact with social media or too much contact with internet and Wi-Fi and all these waves and vibrations, it makes your system hyperactive because the body is very open to receive. So fill yourself more with spiritual energies, kirtans, and always, but especially during this time. So think of what serves you and what is extra. Edit your life ruthlessly. Okay, those are the do's. And then I have some don'ts. Don'ts are, again, don't make big permanent decisions too quickly, because this eclipse is more trying than committing. So give yourself time before you finalize major changes. Then don't ignore your intuition. So this eclipse will bring big revelations. Don't miss sudden insights, maybe about people, maybe about projects. Don't do this, don't this. It'll come at this time. So be in sattva guna, be sober, be channeled, focus on chanting, focus on grounding yourself to receive that in a very focused way. Then don't resist change. Change is inevitable. It'll come. As soon as I said that, all the lights came up here because there was no electricity and I came back. The more you hold on to your old ways of doing things, the harder the transition will be. This applies even to jobs or external relationships. You're holding on to some patterns. That's why things are not opening up. If you shift here and you're not resisting the change and you say, I'm willing to do a job which is different for me, I'm willing to shift my path of career. Whoa, you'll have like opening there. Then last but not the least, don't rush into new ventures without proper research. So gather information before diving in. So it's kind of like face the fear, change, but don't commit. So don't commit to some 1 year contract of a job or something. Try for 1 month, try a shift, because that will lead to what is to happen. Okay, does that help? I think that was a good question because it was on my mind.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Then, yes, these shifts are happening 3 weeks before and after the eclipse. Yes. Then we have, it's basically one lunar cycle, so like 28 days before and after, because that's the time that they are in transit. Everything is shifting up there. Then we have Pankaj Radha is asking, can you please repeat the fourth one again? Yes, sure. Fourth, don'ts, I think you mean, right? Don't rush into new ventures without proper research, without gathering enough information. Don't sign contracts. Check properly and then try it. Don't take 1 year commitment, 2 years. Take 1 month, 2 month, even if it means less money or whatever. Don't commit. Try it out. The theme is coming again and again somehow in this eclipse. Yeah. What it will mean exactly will depend on your effort and how willing you are. I'm also like curious to see, for me with my career, there's a shift. I don't know what it means. I am not at all about going public, go on Facebook, make videos. I'm not, but let's see how the energy is. I'm praying, I'm going on asking Krishna because the more we are in Sattvaguna, we receive intuitional messages. So we'll see. We are not in control. I think that's another major lesson. We are not in control. Do these affect spiritual? What do you mean by spiritual decisions, Manjari Mataji? Give me an example.
Like if I'm thinking of starting a spiritual initiative, should I not commit to that until the effect of this eclipse is over?
See, it's really great day to start spiritual like meetings. We are doing our Anartha Nivriti 1 month thing. We're going to do it on 14th. That's the eclipse. It's great, right? Is it a commitment? We're trying it for a month. So it's not like a long-term thing. So similarly, it depends on when you say spiritual, it's good, but when you say commitment, you have to see how long is the commitment. So I would
Like
say,
if I've been approached to commit to a certain service at the temple for maybe a year, Should I
Yeah,
think
no, I
about it?
don't suggest 1 year. You can say, I'm open, but let me commit to 1 month. Then I will confirm to you in 1 month.
Okay.
Keep
All right. Thank
options
you, Madhavi.
open. Mm.
Okay. Okay.
Because then you may not be able to, something may come up and then you'll feel really like, oh, I should not have, and then it'll be complicated. You just say, I'm open to it, but for now I
Mm-hmm.
can commit for 1 month.
Okay.
I mean, these are
Okay.
easy to do with this kind of things, but what about jobs and contracts? Sometimes you're faced, you have to sign this thing for 1 year or something. Those are the serious things you have to be very careful. I mean, even
So
Krishna.
even spiritual decisions will be affected by this, even though, Krishna is above all of this.
Yeah, so spiritual decision is you want to do service, right? The material aspect comes there when I say I can do it. I will commit for 1 year. That's the material aspect.
Mm. Okay.
The mood should be spiritual, which means like I'm willing to do service for Krishna, but with
Mm-hmm.
humility, with understanding our limitation, that for whatever Krishna wants, I'm
Mm.
willing to do. But I am
Mm.
not going to say that I'm in control and I will commit for this much time.
Okay.
See, it's a
Okay.
balance, you know. We may be like
Mm.
Krishna
Mm.
conscious. We talk about cleaning the temple, and one devotee may say you have to clean it this way, and
Mm.
the other says you have to clean it that
Mm.
way. So then there can be an argument, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Mm.
defining spiritual is very important. Sometimes we want something in a specific way, and we call it spiritual.
Mm.
Spiritual basically
Yes.
means being open and being humble and being aligned to Krishna's will.
True. True. Yes. Thank you,
So you can
Madhavi.
say, Krishna willing, I am happy to do it for 1 year, but right now I will commit to 1 month, you know, like that.
Okay. Okay. All right. And Mataji, what you read in the beginning for everyone, I didn't get to share my chart, but is that something that I could do on my own? Like if looking at my astrological chart, I could figure out what you said in the beginning. You said the sun, moon, and the ascendant, if they are in the same house as the eclipse, which is Aries, correct?
Yeah, if it's either in the same house, then yes, much more impact. But if it is in any house, anywhere, 1 to 12, anywhere, you have to
Uh-huh.
see. I'll send you the charts which says if you have it in the third house, what does it mean? If you have it in the eighth, what does it mean? So everybody will have some impact. But if
Okay.
you have sun, moon, ascendant, something in major houses like I said, career or relationships, or your Mercury is situated in a specific house because Mercury is involved in the eclipse.
Okay.
So, yeah, you
Okay.
can, if you know where your chart is, I'll send the tables, and then you can look at it and see which area of your life you need to pay attention.
Okay. All right, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I think our time is up. We're already a little late. So yeah, I'll do that. Yes. If you can message me, I'll send you your chart and the the general chart, I will send it to the group. But if you want your own chart, you have to send me a personal message. All right, ladies, thank
Hi,
you.
Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm not part of your group. I was supposed to join long back when you were in Portland, Oregon. But can I just message you personally and would you be able to add me to the group?
Sure. Yes, I'll do
Okay.
it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Happy eclipse time. Take advantage and stay grounded. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, just one question about the AA course. This is